Okay, so this is class 5 of 5. Um, and we're gonna do gonna do a little bit of review today, and then we're gonna take it that final step and kind of pull it all together. And also, this I didn't consciously choose it this way, but we started on a full moon and we're ending on a full moon. There's a full moon tomorrow. It's also in bulk, so we have all this incredible energy. The moon is full in Leo, and it's there. The way the planets are aspected right now is really fascinating. So it is an intersection of personal belief with social structure. So I'm not surprised given everything that's going on right now, but it's just a thing to lean into, to recognize that you are being supported both by the full moon, by this class in the way that we're doing things, and also by the energy coming in for February 1st and 2nd, which is in bulk. In some traditions, it's called Candlemas, but it's that first whispering of spring. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So, all right. If we want to move our intentions into the experience of our reality, what we need to do is take a look at the steps required. Now, the thing is, we take these steps all the time. We do this all day, every day. We're just not consciously aware that we're doing it. So we either by conscious design or by default use the tools of repetition and powerful emotion to create structure from energy. All right. That's what we use that sets our patterns and our thoughts in place. Our repeating patterns are created this way from the time we're very small. So if we have repeated experiences that are pleasant or repeated experiences that are unpleasant, they are formed and maintained in exactly the same way. So if you're looking to create something new or something this year that you haven't been able to manage, then what you need to pay attention to is how your thoughts and emotions are feeding that story or starving that story. You might have a desire that you're creating or want to create, but you're starving the energy required to make that so. So take a look at that. Are you feeding your desire thoughts of, I can't do that. How's that going to happen? I don't believe it. This is hard. If you're feeding that energy in there, well, then it's in the mix. And these are things dragging you down, roadblocks in the way. So, um, word salad is only good if the ingredients of the salad go together. So you want to take a look at how you language things. It's really important. And again, that's all about aligning, right? Aligning our desire with our beliefs, our expectations, and our actions. That's what moves energy from the liminal or the imaginal into the manifest. It's the mechanics of energy flow. We always do it. So again, let's revisit, what experiences do I want to have this year? How do I want to feel? What cords need to be cut? What must I do or stop doing to stay in the flow? And we all have habits. There are things that we do that help us to get in the flow. Creativity, looking at the sunset, talking to a friend. And we have things that we do that knock us out of the flow when we get real busy minded and we're living in our heads and we're over analyzing everything and we drop out of the flow and we start to spin. So what obstacles, meaning what habits and beliefs, are in the road? What helpers do you have? Very often we don't rely much on, we're raised in a culture that says you should be independent. Well, we're not. We're pack animals. So live with it, deal with it. We're freaking pack animals. So rely on your pack. Look at your people. Look at your friends and relatives and those who love you and support you and ask for help, whatever that looks like. It might mean a friendly reminder. It might be a smack upside the head if you really get off track. It might be some ideas. It might be $50. It might be anything. So let yourself be open to asking the question, what do I need here to help move this forward? So with that, take a look at the energy and time that you invest in creating what you say you want. And be mindful that you put plenty of time and energy into things all day long. The question is, are those things serving you, or are they making your life unpleasant? And that's something you have to become a better noticer to discern. Working in the imaginal is another thing. That space outside of linear time is really where we create before things happen. Even the most subtle things, it just happens so quickly we don't notice it. Before we get up and get a glass of water, we usually imagine getting a glass of water or drinking the water. We say to ourselves, "Oh, I'm thirsty," and imagine getting that water, and then we get up and we do it all day, every day. We have imaginal experiences before we have the experience in moving, we'll call it waking reality. Every thought, every word, every emotion that we have contributes to what we're creating or what stops us from creating. So if we're seeking something that has eluded us, and again, this is important for intention setting or for creating something new, the blockage lies down in there, in that energetic matrix that we are unconsciously holding in place. So just sit with that for a minute. If you're working to manifest something you've been hoping, wishing, dreaming, wanting to manifest, and it doesn't seem to be coming along, there's a blockage down there in that matrix that we are unconsciously holding in place. So that's the place to look, right? What might I be saying or doing or not doing? What belief might be popping up like an evil jack in the box that says, "Oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's reaching too high. Oh, women can't have that. Oh, blah, blah." Like there's something in there, and you want to see if you can catch it. Now, the imaginal realm is a fundamental ground of knowledge and experience. This is a quote by Robert Moss. The imaginal realm is a fundamental ground of knowledge and experience. It is a region of mind between the world of time and the world of eternity. So the imaginal realm is a real place. And I want you to just sit with that and get that clearly. That the imaginal realm, or we'll call it the subtle realm, is the place where things are created before they show up in 3 dimensions. They're in many dimensions, and then they condense down into 3, and we get to experience them a little differently, right? Which also means that this is the go-to place when you're looking to produce the amount of repetition and emotional intensity you need to create something new. When we go into the imaginal and we be with it and we sit with it and we imagine it fully and deeply and in every cell of our body, what does it mean to have X? What does it feel like to experience that? How am I a different person with that experience? How does that experience inform my life? Right? It's that. So if you spend a much more amount of time, if you give yourself time and space to invest in the imaginal, then you have built in repetition and emotional intensity, which again are the only 2 things which create, tear down, recreate patterns. That's how reality is built and dismantled. When we withdraw energy from something, it collapses. When we add energy to something, we can build, change, or redirect it. So the more you get, and it doesn't have to be in a meditative time. You can do it right before you go to bed. You can do it in the morning before you get out of bed. You can even talk to yourself and have a couple of dreams. And this is awesome. If you can suggest to yourself a dream in which you already have the thing you're creating, and that happens, that is a tremendous amount of power and energy rushing through the multiverse, creating that for you, laying the groundwork and the foundation for that to occur in your waking state. So that's some of the best stuff you can get to happen. And again, you can also vividly imagine it so that you feel what your body feels like, you see what you look like, you notice what's different. Let's just say, for example, you wanted to make, I don't know, an extra, you wanted to make $3,000 a month more. Well, what would you do with it? What does that feel like? Can you see it in your bank account? What would, how would that change your daily life? See those little details as vividly as you can and feel in your body that joy of, hey, I got 3 grand a month. Now I'm going to do X. Or now I can set aside money to take, I'm going to take that trip. So you vividly imagine being on that trip. You're not worrying about bills. Everything's been paid for. You're having a little weekend away, whatever that is. So, whatever that thing that you want gives you. See, we're never ever going for the thing itself. And that's something we forget. We're not going for the brand new car. We're going for the way the car makes us feel. We're going for the status we imagine goes with the car. We're going for the smell of the new car. We're going for the way for the joy of inviting somebody for a ride in our car. We're not doing it for the thing itself, ever. We don't want money for the sake of having more money. We don't want health so that we can fly our flag and say, hey, I'm healthy. We want to feel in our bodies what it is to have that thing we say that we want. So again, how much time and energy do you spend consciously creating? Going to throw it out there because if you want to move forward with this work in your life this year, these are the things that you need to revisit. And remember that we create anyway. The question is, am I unconsciously creating by default? In other words, am I having repeated experiences that I don't really want? Or am I, and in my defaults, can I identify those old stories? You can rewrite your story. If you have a victim story, and this always happens to me, if you've ever heard yourself say that, you're in trouble because that is a declaration, that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So take a look at how you're unconsciously creating. And again, this is what we have friends for. Have them report to you what kinds of things they hear you saying. How do you think I keep having this experience over and over again? Excellent. It's good information. And similarly, they might say, damn, I'm jealous of you. You always get to XYZ. And you're like, yeah, because I do this and I think this and I believe this. So that's good for them too. And when you notice somebody having something that you in your heart desire, ask them about it. Say, hey, how'd you do that? Or how'd you get that? Or how do you feel about that? Or was there a time when you didn't have that? So you can feel through their journey and that informs you, right? So if you stumble across a good story, keep it there, reinforce it. I have always stories. Things always work out when I XYZ. I have good stories, right? And I'm sure you do too. So the good stories you have, reinforce them. Same thing. Say it more, lean into it, feed it some energy. But when you stumble upon a story or somebody points out a story that's in your way, you want to deconstruct that thing. So watch your words. Pay attention to the statements that you make that start with I am, I have, I can. And make sure that you are leading that energy in the right direction, right? Imagine and embody your desires on a daily basis. Look, how many times do you cross your brain crosses with a worry during the course of a day, or you think about something unpleasant, or you think about something really awful that happened on the news. A fair amount of time, those thoughts flit by. So I'm asking you to create a habit of having the thoughts you choose flit by, of having those thoughts of being, having, doing, your desires fill you from time to time during the day, stop you for a moment, take your breath away, let you say to yourself, this is great. I'm enjoying this. I love a person who has written and published a book, whatever that is. I love being a person who can travel whenever she wants. I love this experience. So give yourself that gift. It will get you there. All right. And of course, take action. You can't weed your garden by sitting inside meditating about no weeds in the flower bed. You have to get your ass out the door and pull the frickin' weeds. Again, I can't tell you how many people I talk to that say, I'm doing it all right. I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. Okay, but have you taken any action? Have you, I don't know, applied for that job you say you want? Have you gone looking for houses that in the neighborhood you say you want to live? I mean, it is not gonna, it can occasionally drop out of the sky in your lap, but it's not nearly as likely as if you put some action behind it. Go do something. Even if the thing that you do is make a list. I mean, the last how I moved into this house was by making a list. I damn well wasn't going to go look at all these different houses and answer all these different ads and have all these houses not look anything like their pictures. I wasn't interested. I made a very detailed list. Now, if I sat with that list in my house and did nothing with it, I'd still probably be living in the apartment I was in 10 years ago, right? But I took that list with me, and I was in the very first person I was inspired to share it with was somebody who said, I have a house that I know somebody that's trying to rent a house that fits that description. And literally, that's how I got the house I'm living in. So again, you have to get out there and pull the weeds and then plant the seeds, right? So after pull the weeds comes plant the seeds. All right. And another thing in that little box of to-dos is to create a shortcut. So to have a phrase or an image or a necklace or a ring, have something concrete that you can say or see or wear that represents the completion of that thing you want, whatever that is, because it's a shortcut. It contains all that energy of repetition and emotional intensity as an end product. So it helps you, right? It's like rubbing a worry stone. So you can, touch your prosperity ring or wear your love scarf. I know somebody that wore a pair of earrings because they were birds. She was trying to attract a man and she was really into birds. And so she got this pair of earrings but she had them on her dresser for like 6 months. And so it's like, well, why aren't you wearing those things? Oh, I don't know. I have them. I look at them. I don't know. Try putting them on. Let's see what happens. Don't you know, the third time she was out wearing her earrings, some guy at a grocery store complimented her on them. They started up a conversation. She went on a date with him. All right. So again, take action, pull weeds, plant seeds, and create a shortcut. That shortcut really served her well. All right. Now we're coming to some of the unconscious stuff a little more fully. Use your once hidden treasures, your dark bits, your repressed darkness, and repressed creativity, because there's a lot of energy to bring to the party through that stuff, right? Employ your dark bits constructively. Those things that you've thrown in the basement that I asked you to bring up last time, right? Your little basket of darkness. Those are things that generally we either don't like about ourselves, or we think other people don't like, or we feel a little dicey about, right? So if someone, for example, has a lot of anger, the question isn't, how do I get rid of my anger? The question is, how do I use it in a way that works for me in the world? How do I use it? It's just energy. So instead of storing it up so that we rage at the person behind the counter, right? We can take that energy of anger and use it consciously and deliberately to create healthy boundaries, to put in place walls in our life that say, do not trespass here. So that's one very small example. Even stuff like people they don't want people to know that they procrastinate. So they pretend they don't, they hide it, they're ashamed of it, they stick it away. Well, think about what you can do with procrastination. I know it sounds crazy, but what useful purpose can it serve? Maybe you can put off worrying. Maybe you can put off calling yourself bad names. Maybe you can put things off that will benefit you to put those things off. In fact, if you put them off long enough, hey, maybe the life force will come on out of them because you quit feeding them and they disappear. So procrastination can be a very useful tool. Right? I know I'm mean to myself, but not today. I'm going to put that off, right? Until you quit being mean to yourself. So it doesn't matter what's in your little basket of dark bits. It matters that you use them rather than have them use you. They're not bad, they're not wrong, they're not shameful, they're not sinful. They're all part of your character. It's like, what would I do without my sarcasm? I don't even try to hide it. It's just kind of been my love language my whole life. So, but there are people for whom sarcasm is a bad thing and a big deal. I am not among them. But if you happen to have that going on and you try to dampen down your sarcasm, no, you just find people who appreciate it and you hang out with them, right? Don't hide your dark bits. They're sparkly and pretty. And of course, your creativity. So, all of us have areas where we want to be creative and we stop ourselves. Again, frozen energy, plenty of energy in there. The more that you can add expression to your authentic self by allowing creativity to move through you into the world, the more power and energy you have to create. That's why they call it creativity. Duh. It's creating something. So then you can take that creativity and you can hone it to what you're working on, right? You can write a poem about the thing you're creating. You can write a song. You can find a song and listen to it that resonates with what you're creating. You can dance around the living room. And it doesn't matter what you do to allow your creativity to come out. It can be something very small, like drawing some stick figures, or it can be something big, like taking an improv class. The point is to listen to those urges that rise within you and honor them. Think about when you were a little kid and maybe you love to play dress up or you love to invent stories and act them out or you love to whatever that thing was and give yourself the richness to have that come back in your life. And I don't know if you had the freedom to do those things as a kid or if those things were squelched then. Well, if they were squelched then, by all means, invite your child self out to play and see what she wants to do. And if they weren't squelched then, and now you're the squelcher, well, procrastinate, knock that off and putting off being creative and let yourself be creative. Let the muse speak to you. There's all kinds of energy to be had there. Okay. And now a thing that's one more link in the chain of bringing all this together is to create for yourself. Take all of these things that we've talked about, all of them. And it's a very useful tool to create a little ritual that deliberately says it's a way of saying, and I've created this in reality, and this is so, and so be it. So you can come up with whatever works for you in whatever category. If you're working on, if you want a beautiful garden, you can cut out some pictures, you can buy some flowers, you can put them in a lovely space, you can light a candle, And you can say out loud, this is my glorious garden that brings me great joy. And I suggest that you create little rituals around everything that you're looking to accomplish, to create, to manifest this year, because that little ritual takes and condenses all these things we've talked about and puts them in one little package that moves the energy forward in a dramatic way. We have lots of rituals in our lives, we just don't recognize them. Even making our morning coffee and sitting down with a cup is a ritual. And it's a ritual of self-acknowledgement and starting the day and a new beginning. It's a great ritual. Of course, the caffeine helps too, but it is a ritual. And that we have plenty of rituals. There are religious rituals. There are seasonal rituals, right? We have Imbolc coming up. So well, let's talk about that for a minute, right? We have that little whisper breath of spring in the seasons turning. We have Bridget, who is the goddess and the keeper of the fire. At the heart of Imbolc is Bridget, who is both regarded well by the pagan ancestry and also by Christianity. She's the guardian of the hearth fire. She's the holder of poetry and inspiration. She's healing. It is the promise of renewal. So there are plenty of rituals that people do on the 1st and 2nd of February in order to call into being not just the spring with the outdoors and the weather, but the spring within us, the rebirth, the moving from the winter of our thoughts to the seed planting and growth of our new tomorrows. So Bridget is said to walk the land on the night, either before or on the night of Imbolc, blessing homes, animals, those who welcome her. And for this reason, households sometimes gently prepare for that. They put out a candle, they put out some bread and milk. There's a tradition of laying a cloth on the doorknob or on a bush or a ribbon. It doesn't have to be a cloth. It can be a scarf, can be a ribbon, and then that is called Bridget's mantle. And after it is blessed, it's brought into the home and used all year. It can be used, you can put it on if you're not feeling well. It can be used as a tool for healing. It can be used when you're feeling low and depressed as a reminder that that changes, that good times are coming, the spring is returning. All right, so there's like all those little rituals. Cleansing the home, cleaning the home is another spring ritual, right? Spring cleaning. Homes are swept and refreshed on February 1st and 2nd, releasing the heaviness of winter and making space for new beginnings. So, this is also a ritual that you can use in the creation of your own desires for this year. You can sweep an area clear, like your desk. You can clear and cleanse an area and then set it up differently in a new way to reflect that which you're calling into being. And don't forget to say thank you. It's great to leave things outside for the critters, right? When we're working in energy, energy is all around us. It's always a kindness to leave offering. We get lots of good things. We get sunlight, we get breeze, we get a beautiful big moon in the sky. Go throw some bread out for the birds. Go toss a few handfuls of food out for the squirrels and raccoons and all the good things, right? It's a time that this beginning of February is a time of what's generally referred to as quiet magic. It's not dramatic, it's soft, it's inward, it's hopeful, because it's a reminder that even in the heart of winter, the light has already begun to return. All right, even in the heart of winter. So when you're creating your rituals, there is something interesting about the hexagram, right? You've heard of a hex or to put a hex on somebody, but it's a physical formation, a hexagram, that's all over the natural world because it is efficient. So snowflakes are six-sided, honeycombs, hexagrams. Those huge basalt rocks are gigantic hexagrams. It's something that nature creates because it is the most stable structure. So when you use a symbol, I often like to contain it in a hexagram because it produces a feeling of stability. And when you're moving energy, when you're sending it out into the world, then that's where often people will use a five-pointed star, a pentagram. A pentagram will move that energy all over the place, and a hexagram will stabilize and contain it. I mean, there's a whole other class we could have on architecture and forms and shapes, but for right now, this is enough. Oh, by the way, when we actually talk about hexing someone, you know, it really means to stop the energy, to freeze the energy of that person, to stop what they're doing. So I don't think of it particularly as a bad thing, just saying. Sometimes stopping the energy is what's the tool that's called for. But it's a container, is my point, that a hexagram is a container for stabilizing energy, and it does a magnificent job in nature. And that's why we use it when we do some of these things for ourselves, because it will help us to create that strong foundation on which to build the thing that we desire. All right. All those images, all those pieces coming together. All right. I was long-winded today, but I wanted to get in all the puzzle pieces for the past couple of weeks and then add a few new things on top of it. And with that in mind, I'll ask you if you have any questions, any thoughts, any ideas, any questions before I move on to the meditation.
I would just say that, well, thank you. And that when you were talking about the doing before, it reminded me of something my mom said when she used to say, "You happen to life. Life doesn't happen to you," you know.
Yep.
And yeah, and I used your little drawing cartoons last week, to sort of bring something in, and it sort of did already. So
Good. That's great.
yeah. So I'm gonna keep doing that in my little book that I have from my old job that's called Practice Dreaming. So
Oh, that's perfect.
yeah.
Practice dreaming. Yep. Well, need any further help practice dreaming, read some Robert Moss because yep, yep, that's where it's at. Yeah, it's a good thing. I had something happen this week. And I can't even explain it, and I'm not going to try to. I have been struggling for months with I had a torn meniscus in one knee and then in the other knee, and then on the second one, after the second one started to heal, I tripped over the cat. I haven't fallen in, I don't know, a decade. I tripped over the cat and fell and landed on that knee. Okay, suffice to say, first of all, getting up and down the stairs for quite some time was impossible. And I've have continued to walk with a lot of pain with a cane. And for again, I do some things about it, but not their knees, they're hard to deal with. So I quit doing it that way. And I just started before I went to bed, kind of rub my salve on my knee and say, you're a good old knee. You're a good old knee. I love you, little knee, right? Just kind of talking to it like that. Well, I'm going to tell you that yesterday, for the first time in 6 months, I woke up and was almost pain free, 90% pain free. I could stand straight. I could walk with minimal pain. I got up and down the stairs twice. I carried something up the stairs. And again, I don't want to think too hard about it because I'm not sure how I made that happen. And I thought, oh, because the day before and the day before that, I was in a lot of pain. And I'm good again today. So yes, so I'm assuming that whatever shifted actually shifted. It wasn't just a one-off. So again, you keep doing what you do. And that's what it was in my dream space. In as I was dreaming, I started noticing, oh, I feel real. I can walk. I can go for a long walk. I can go up those stairs because I can in my dreams. And it's like, and I started noticing I can in my dreams, and I think something rolled over. So anyway, just keep at it, keep
Yeah.
playing in the liminal fields, and all kinds of good things happen. Okay, without further ado, then let's meditate, shall we? Oh. All right, bring your attention to your breath and relax your breath. Allow it to be slow and deep. As you exhale, let yourself settle down on the surface beneath you. Feel your body soften. Feel your belly release. Allow your shoulders to drop away from your ears. Relax. As you float on the sensation of breathing, your mind quiets. And in that quiet space, images appear around you. And you find yourself walking along a dusty path, a dirt road. The road twists and winds ahead of you. There's grass to the left, woods to the right. And you begin hearing a sound. It's rhythmic. At first, it almost sounds like a bell. It's definitely metal on metal. And you walk the dusty road, noticing the feeling of the earth beneath your feet, the warmth of the sun, the scent on the breeze. As you walk, the sound begins to get a little louder. And to your right, set off in the grass, you notice an old stone well. And suddenly you feel thirsty and know that that water must be beautiful and sweet and delicious. And you walk over to the well and see, much to your delight, that the well cover has been pushed back some, and there's enough space for you to pull up the bucket. And so you do. And when you get the bucket pulled up and you sit it on the lip of the well, you also notice that there on the top of the well cover rests a silver ladle. And you take it up and dip it in the water and have that cool drink. And oh, it quenches your thirst. It's so sweet and cold. And you pour a few drops on the ground in gratitude. And you notice you must not be the only one, for the grass growing around the base of the well is lush and thick and green. And you set that ladle back down on the well cover. and let the bucket go back down to the water. You feel refreshed and continue walking along the dirt path. And you begin to notice on the left that there are small structures, like little cabins or houses. They don't seem occupied, but you do hear this sound and it's getting louder. The road curves to the left and you follow it along and see another little structure. And the sound is much louder now. And as you approach, you begin to realize what you're seeing and what you're hearing. This structure only has 3 sides. And there's someone hammering away at a piece of metal on an anvil. It's rhythmic, ringing, getting louder as you approach. Behind them is a forge. You can see the fire blazing. And as you get closer, you see them plunge the metal item into a barrel of water, and you can hear the hiss as the steam rises. And then back into the fire it goes. You are so intrigued. You step off the dirt path and begin to cross the expanse of grass. And again, the item is pulled from the fire and the hammer comes down. And you're close enough now, you can see the sweat rolling off this person's face and arms and the smile on their face. Oh, how they enjoy their work. Hello, you say. Hello, they reply without missing a beat. And you turn and see that as you now have stepped into the structure, behind you, the wall is covered with all kinds of instruments. You see a scythe and some knives and a sword and a hammer and something that looks like pliers and a shovel, all kinds of things. And you turn back just in time to see the person dip that metal into the cold water bath. I'm glad you've come, they say. And they place the item and the hammer down and walk around and point to the wall. There's something there for you, they say. That's why you're here. And you look and you look and you're amazed at all the different kinds of tools and implements there. And just then you notice one. It stands out almost as if it has light of its own. You feel your eyes get wider. The person next to you gives you a nudge. Ah, you found it, they say. It's higher up on the wall. So a chair gets dragged across the floor and they climb up there and get it down for you. They place it lovingly in your arms. and say, use it well, my friend. And you think for a moment and say, well, what do I owe you? How much? No, no, no. They say, the payment is in you using it to its fullest. And they wink at you and you smile and you make your way across the grass and across the dirt road, and you take your gift into the shade of an old oak tree and just sit with it, admiring it, looking at it. And in the shade of that tree, you begin to fall asleep. The smithy is also taking a break. There is no sound of hammering, just the breeze and the leaves and the birds overhead. And you notice in your restful space how lovely it is, this spring, this quickening of the earth. And as you drift in sleep, you begin to travel slowly, gently on your breath, bringing back with you the gift you were given by the smithy. Breath by breath, you return slowly, calling yourself gently back to the moment. And as you do, you hear the voice of spring speaking words directly to you. I am the dream of awakening. I am the returning of the light. I am the green shoot pushing up through the hard ground. I am the first touch of sunlight on unfurling petals. I am the wind that whispers home to the migrating birds. I am the sap rising in the tree. I am the rousing of the bear and the birthing of the lambs. I am the deep longing of spirit which refuses to be dimmed. I am the stirring in your belly. I am the dream of awakening. And with those words, you return fully and allow your eyes to open. All righty then. Thank you for tuning in today. And to walk between the worlds with me is always a gift for me. I will take that meditation and separate it and send it to you so you can have it not attached to the end of the conversation. And it's been lovely spending these 5 weeks with you. Please let me know how things are going and how you're using your tools as the weeks go by. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, enjoy, have fun, and play. Bye now.